We don't really have as much men coming to the hospital as women. If something is bringing them to the hospital, then it's really serious, or something that they've tried to do everything about and they failed, so they now eventually come to the hospital as a last resort. For this particular issue, guys will readily come and meet a doctor. What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another exciting episode of Pillow Talk with Dr. Who you already know. Yeah, and you know I'm always excited because every week we come back with exciting topics. Thanks to you guys. Thanks for your topic suggestions. Thanks for your DMs. And today's topic is inspired by numerous DMs I've been getting, actually, not just one, not two, not three. I'm tired of counting. So many DMs, and even by a lot of personal patient consultation, because I also get this question when I'm consulting with patients. So enough of the suspense. Let me jump right into it and tell you guys what we're going to be talking about today. Let me start by saying I get a whole lot of DMs, a whole lot of questions about this topic, right? And another one which I'm going to be discussing next week, but let's focus on the one for today. So basically, a lot of guys send me DMs, like a lot of my male patients. You know, guys, permit me to say, you guys don't really care much about your health. You don't have as much health-seeking behavior as women. You know, women, if something is wrong with them, they rush right to the hospital, they go and see the doctor and all that. But for guys, until they are dying before they go to the hospital. In fact, you literally have to drag them to the hospital. That's how it is. So most men, we don't really have as much men coming to the hospital as women. Okay, if something is bringing them to the hospital, then it's really serious, or something that they've tried to do everything about and they failed, so they now eventually come to the hospital as a last resort. But this particular issue, guys will readily come and meet a doctor. Yeah, before they discuss it with you, they might go round the circle. Some of them might not actually even hit the nail on the head because they feel kind of like embarrassed discussing this, right? And maybe it's affecting their ego or their self-confidence or whatever. But you know, people always feel comfortable with doctors, and you know you can always feel comfortable with us, because I mean, who else would you feel comfortable with? So basically, I get a lot of DMs asking me about premature ejaculation. Basically, a lot of guys actually face this issue, right? The fact that they actually orgasm much earlier than they would love to, or they feel like their partner is not getting enough satisfaction in bed because they cannot last so long in bed. So basically, I always get a lot of DMs asking me, like, how do you solve this problem? Sometimes people ask me what causes it, you know, how can they deal with this problem, because it causes them a lot of embarrassment. Some men actually shy away from sexual intercourse just because of this singular issue. I'm going to be giving you some tips for how you can last longer in bed. So in other words, I'm giving you tips for how you can handle or deal with premature ejaculation. And like I always say, one of the first steps to solving a problem is knowing what is causing the problem. So it's knowing that you have a problem, right? Knowing what the problem is, that's the first step to solving it. Because if you don't even know you have a problem, how do you want to solve it? Premature ejaculation, most times, or more often than not, it's actually a psychological thing. So everything is all in your mind. If you can just work on your mind, work on your psyche, then you get better results. Of course, there are other causes, right? But psychological is usually the main cause, right? And you see that a lot of times when people actually work on that and other things which I'm going to talk about, it will definitely help and you'll see improvements. These tips I'm going to talk about today, they are tested, trusted, and highly recommended by professionals. So let's get right into it, like I already said earlier. So number one tip, when you are dealing with premature ejaculation, you need to learn to deal with performance anxiety. So what's performance anxiety? So performance anxiety, actually, you can experience it anytime. You can experience it anywhere. For example, you have a performance like a show. You're supposed to deliver a speech in front of people, and you might be anxious, like, oh, am I going to do well? How am I going to do? I don't want to disappoint people. I don't want to let people down. That's part of performance anxiety. Same way it happens in bed too. So men that usually have this premature ejaculation issue, before they even get to the point of having sexual intercourse, they're already thinking, how am I going to do in bed? Am I going to last long? Am I going to orgasm quickly again? Is she going to be satisfied? Is she going to leave me? Maybe if I don't perform, maybe she will leave me, and all those kind of things, right? So you're already having that anxiety, you're already having that fear, right? And that is already going to affect you, because when you already have fear in your mind that you're going to fail, or fear that you're not going to do well, or fear that you're going to mess up, as some people put it, then you most likely will mess up, because fear would lead to the mess up, or fear would lead to the failure. So you need to learn to deal with this anxiety ahead of time, right? When you want to meet with your partner, don't focus on the problem. Don't think too much. Don't overthink it, right? Just try and tell yourself that, okay, you know what, I'm basically going to have a good time with my partner, and I'm not going to overthink it. I'm not going to think of failing, right? And everything's going to be fine, basically. But one thing that really helps, like I mentioned earlier, is opening up to your partner. So basically, if you don't let your partner know, right, your partner may just think that you're selfish and that you are just only concerned about satisfying only yourself, right? You don't care about how she feels and if she's satisfied and all that, not knowing that you actually have an issue, right? But when you are able to speak with your partner and let her know that, okay, it can be embarrassing, yes, I know. It can bruise your ego, yes, I know. It might affect your confidence, yes, I know. But if you have an understanding partner, this will go a long way in solving the problem, right? So you just need to speak with her and tell her, you know what, I kind of think I have this issue, right? I don't know if you've noticed or not, but yeah, it looks like this is what happens when I have intercourse, right? And trust me, I would want to stay longer, but this happens anyway. And the good thing is I'm working on it, and I'm doing it just for both of us. So you know, just because there are some ways that you need to handle it that would involve your partner, and your partner needs to be understanding. You know, if every time it happens your partner is just mad at you, angry, she's not even being supportive, shouting on you and telling you or saying things to you that would further, you know, bring down your confidence, that doesn't help the issue. But if you have a supportive partner telling you, okay, it didn't work out this time, don't worry, we'll try harder, next time it'll be better, or what do I need to do to help, how can I help you, how can I make it better? So you know, when you know that someone has got your back, when that someone is supporting you, then it'll be easier to deal with this, right? And it will build your confidence, right? You can even tell, oh, you did good today, you did better, and all that. So it's kind of building your confidence, right? So that really helps. So you need to be able to open up with your partner. This will help to deal with the anxiety, because you already know that your partner knows that you have this problem. So it's not going to come as a surprise, right? So if it happens, both of you know, and then you're dealing with it together. That way you have less fear about dealing with it, about facing it, and then you're able to, you know, go forward and heal it. My second tip for lasting longer in bed is work on your cardio. So do more cardio exercises, because to be able to last longer in bed, to an extent, you need to have good stamina, right? So you need to be able to go for long periods. Of course, we're not saying go for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. That's totally unrealistic. But we're saying at least, because like it or not, sexual intercourse is exercise. Like when you finish having sex, you see that your heart is beating faster, it's pumping faster. It looks like you've actually literally done like jogging or something, right? So you need to do more cardio, like jogging, like swimming, right? That would help you to build your stamina, right? So that you are able to last longer in bed. You know, when you do cardio helps like the heart to pump faster. It helps blood, you know, circulation. So blood is able to go circulate properly around your body. And of course, if you didn't already know, to achieve an erection, you actually need blood flowing into your private part, right? That helps you to achieve an erection. If like the blood is not flowing adequately to your private part, or if the vessels that are supposed to like collect blood and make your private part erect are blocked, then you will not have a strong erection to start with, right? Before we even talk about premature ejaculation. Actually, I'm going to talk about erectile dysfunction in another video, which you should definitely look out for. That's not the topic of today. So basically, that's what I'm saying. Cardio is good all the way around. You know, when you have a better body image, right, you feel more confident in the other room. So this is part of what we're talking about. Cardio, very important. Next tip I have for you will be to try to distract yourself from the moment. You know, sometimes when you're having intercourse with your partner, you're really enjoying it and things really sweeting your, that's when you don't even know when you've got an orgasm, right? Even when your partner is not ready and you don't want to, you're like, you're enjoying this thing, but I don't even want to orgasm. Why did that happen? So basically, when you see that you're reaching the peak, that is something that we call the point of no return, where you know that it's kind of like a build-up. You're enjoying it, and all of a sudden it's getting there. When you know that you're getting close to that point, just distract yourself, right? About distracting yourself, now this one is talking about your mind. When you feel like you're enjoying that thing too much, right, disconnect from the moment a bit. Think about something. Think about football match. Think about food. Just think about something distracting that will not really, because a lot of times this thing also has to do with your mind, right? It's not only about the activity, but even your mind is magnifying everything. So it contributes to you having an orgasm. So when you see that you're getting there, just disconnect. Think about something else. You know, just disconnect from the moment. And then when you're able to go back, you know, to baseline, then you can come back and reconnect So these last 2 points I'm going to talk about. If all else fails, then revert to this one. And what am I talking about? The next point is use thick condoms or condoms that have desensitizing gel in them. There are some condoms that they will put on it that, oh, it's almost invisible, it feels like it's not there, right? So those kind of condoms, will tell you, oh, it's really thin, like you can't even feel it's there, right? Those ones, they'll make you orgasm faster, right? But in this case, we're trying not to orgasm faster, so go for the thicker condoms, right? Because when they are thicker, they reduce the sensation you feel on your private parts, so you don't feel it as much as if you are not using a condom or if you are using something that was really thin. So when it's thicker, you feel the sensation less, and you know, when you feel the sensation a lot, that's what contributes to you getting an orgasm faster, and we don't want that to happen. So you have to use a thicker one so you feel less sensation, and it will help you to last longer in bed. And a lot of those condoms, not only do they have that thickness, they also have something that they call desensitizer or desensitizing gel. So what does this do? It contains an anesthetic, and what does an anesthetic do? An anesthetic numbs whatever area that you apply to, so you don't feel any pain, right? So it reduces the sensation there, so you won't feel as much pleasure when that part is touched. That's what it does basically. The downside to using any desensitizing gel, right, or anything that has desensitizing gel, is that you may not feel because it reduces the sensation, so you won't get as much pleasure from using it. You know, if something was like really, really sweet, you're like kind of toning it down so that you don't enjoy it as much, right? But at the same time, you want to last longer, so you have to pick between the two, right? If you last longer, your partner will be happier and you feel better with yourself, right? But I mean, you know the reverse. The next point I want to talk about is closely related to this one that we just discussed, and it's using the sensitizing sprays, creams, or gel. So basically, before intercourse, you apply the spray, cream, or gel to your private part, to your penis. I'm trying to avoid that word because of censoring. So you apply it anyway to your private part, and what it does, like I described, it's going to numb the sensation, so you don't have as much sensation. When you don't have as much sensation, of course, it's going to take you longer to orgasm, because then you need to do more to actually feel more, and then this will make your partner happy, and it make you happy on the long run. So these are methods you can use if the first 3 fail, or if you're not really getting results with the first 3, because these ones are kind of like instant. I have more mechanisms that I want to teach you, but I dedicated a separate video to that, so make sure you look out for that, right? I hope these tips, you found it useful. I hope you found it helpful, or if you haven't tried it, I hope you will find it helpful, right? Let me know, have you tried any other thing before? Has it worked for you? Are there any other things you know that I didn't mention? You can put them in the comment section down below. I'm always happy to hear from you. Feel free to send me your questions. Feel free to comment down below. Let's discuss. Like I always say, your sexual health is as important as your general health and well-being. See you next week.